one thing I wanted to ask you, Carl reminded me that it was in the 1960 U.S. Amateur where you asked Carl for a little help, and that was a big pivotal moment in your victory that week. What was it that inspired you to turn to Carl, and what did he help you with?
Well, I'm not sure I turned to Carl. I think we played a lot of golf together, and he knew my game pretty well. And in 1960, back then, he was always a keen observer of people, but I don't think he really formulated all of the things that he's accumulated in his knowledge today. But I wasn't playing my best, and he gave me a couple little tips in the same way that other players have done over the years, and you never know what's going to click. I'd say it sort of happenstance then, but since then, for me, I can tell you that I don't have anybody look at my golf game unless it's Carl, and I will generally go wherever he is if I need some help. I've said in Carl's book, and my quote is reprinted on the back cover, that Carl knows more about the golf swing and more about the kind of golf swing that maybe not what you view on television every week, but the kind of golf swing that controls the golf ball. Golf is completely different today than it was 25, 30, 40 years ago. And the power is so important today to the success of the players. They hit the ball so far that most golf courses are pretty easy. And even if they don't hit it straight, they're so close to the green and they're so strong that being in the rough is not much of a factor. They play much different golf than Carl and I watched Ben Hogan play, which was complete control of the golf ball. His bad shots were under control. So Carl gave me some tips back then, which helped me win. But the information that he gives me today are not just little tips. They're basic fundamentals about the game that all form the ability to control the golf ball, even if you're not playing your best. And that's my view of Carl's knowledge and what he can do for someone who loves to play golf and loves to hit the golf ball correctly. To amplify on the players today, and I admire the players today and admire the strength and admire the scoring. But I've said often, and I haven't had anybody who is really knowledgeable about tour players come back to me and tell me that I'm wrong. But I maintain if you took the top 20 players on the world money list and you gave them Ben Hogan's golf clubs that he used, and Ben Hogan's golf ball that he used, which was a Titleist, he played with a Titleist, and you put them, the top 20 players in the world, and you put them out on the PGA Tour today, and started them off in January, and of course they usually don't play more than 1 or 2 weeks in a row, but with those clubs, they could play every week, all 20 of them, every week, week after week for the full year, and not one of them would win a golf tournament. And those 20 players would not make the cut half the time. That's how much difference there is in the equipment, and that's just reality. Golf is a completely different game today than it was when we learned how to play. And that doesn't mean, actually, that those players couldn't be better if they went about the basic fundamentals in the way that they could if they had the knowledge. They would be completely unbeatable, and they would shoot scores. They would shoot as far as they could hit it. They would shoot it in the low 60s every round if they knew how to control the ball. But golf has changed, and of course so have we. They're getting longer and we're getting shorter.
Well, I know